Today is Friday, July 16, the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. On July 16, 1945, a team led by J. Robert Oppenheimer set off the first test of an atomic bomb in the Jornada de Muerto desert of New Mexico. Jornada del Muerto might be translated in modern literal English as the working day of the dead. The name comes from the Spanish conquistadors, whose center of power was in Mexico and extended into Nuevo Mexico province. This test led to the explosion of the atomic bomb at Hiroshima barely a month later, followed in short order by the explosion at Nagasaki. So we are already surrounded by irony. The bomb exploded in a place called the working day of the dead. As if that weren't enough, Oppenheimer had codenamed this test Trinity, drawing for inspiration on the sonnet by the English poet John Donne, first published in 1633. The sonnet's images suggest that God can free us from Satan's grasp, but only by violence, by military force. Batter my heart, three-personed God, for you as yet but knock, breathe, shine, and seek to mend, that I may rise and stand, o'erthrow me, bend your force to break, blow, burn, and make me new. One imagines that Gerard Manley Hopkins must have found great inspiration in this poetry. But we must ask ourselves why Oppenheimer found this religious theme an appropriate moniker for his atomic testing. Could only America's divine atomic power wrest salvation from the satanic Japanese? In a 1965 interview, he quoted a line from the Bhagavad Gita: "Now I have become death, the destroyer of worlds." Perhaps an insightful psychologist could help us. In the meantime, we must wrestle with the yet greater irony that on the day of the first explosion, we who are Catholic celebrate this day as the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. The name comes from the first Carmelites, Christian hermits living on Mount Carmel in the Holy Land during the late 12th and early to mid-13th centuries. The feast celebrates Mary, the Queen of Peace. In our first reading, we continue the story of God rescuing the children of Israel from slavery in Egypt, and doing so by force, in a physical manifestation of the liberation imagery of John Donne's sonnet. As I try to hold John Donne, J. Robert Oppenheimer, and Moses together in one thought, what comes to my mind is Wednesday's first reading 2 days ago. Moses encountering God in the burning bush in the desert near Horeb, the mountain of God. God says to Moses, "Remove your sandals, for you are standing on holy ground." The ground is made holy by God's presence, of course, but it is made holy to Moses, a human being, as an invitation to encounter the divine. In accepting that invitation, however reluctantly, Moses allows himself to be embraced by the divine, not simply in some abstract way, but in the literal, physical way of being embraced on that spot in the desert in that moment. And from there, we can move seamlessly to Jesus' statement in today's gospel: "I desire mercy, not sacrifice. I, the Lord your God, desire your showing mercy to one another, not thinking that offering sacrifices devoid of meaning honors God and fulfills religious obligation. God shows mercy to the children of Israel in today's first reading through the miracle of the first Passover that prefigures Jesus' Passover from death to resurrected life. So let's celebrate God's invitation into holiness and new life as we stand on our holy ground, recognizing that the human fascination with violence can be twisted into self-congratulatory claims to offering liberation to humanity. Jesus offers us that liberation in its only real sense. If we go voluntarily, this liberation need not be violent, but rather peaceful, as only Jesus and his Blessed Mother can be.